Hi, my name is Cold Beer and let's start with Smalland Survive the Wilderness.
You'll traverse puddles as big as a lake, scale skyscraper-sized trees and scramble through cavernous cracks in roads as you explore a huge open world from a new perspective. Well, honestly, we all saw this in Grounded already, but that game is obviously oriented to a younger audience, and Smalland is more like a traditional open-world RPG with heavy crafting and survival elements. Yeah, keep that in mind. The game is filled with various challenges. The squirrel gangs that see you as a walking peanut can be a little overwhelming and add an unexpected twist to your tiny adventures. One of the coolest things is that you can ride various creatures, and not only on the ground, there are plenty of flying mounts as well. And for me, after flying for countless hours in Hogwarts Legacy, it's very hard to go back to any game that doesn't have this feature. Anyway, you can play the game alone or with friends. Also, if you are afraid of spiders, fair warning, you are a pussy. I'm kidding, I just wanted to stress out that here you will encounter some realistically looking and moving spiders that may not be compatible with your raging arachnophobia. Gods against machines. This is an action-packed roguelite strategy where every run is different thanks to a wide variety of spells and skills, as well as procedurally generated maps. You'll have to protect your world and huge crystals that are rising from the ground. These are your source of mana. You will build your base around them with spells that summon different types of buildings, mini volcanoes that drown your enemies in fire from afar, spirit dwellings that spawn powerful sprites to fight for you, and so on. Basically, this is kind of a traditional RTS game. If you played one, you'll be right at home. Just be aware of the powerful bosses. When your enemies will use up all the resources, one of their commanders will appear, so prepare for an epic final battle. Although don't expect miracles from the game, it's an indie title with all the flaws indies usually have, from overused assets to seemingly an AI art, but in general the game is fun and the price is not that high as well. Well, at least definitely not as high as Seth Rogen. Impaler. This is a minimalist retro arena shooter with spikes. You'll summon spikes to slay monsters, build barriers and reach higher ground. The game is challenging, rewards movement, and each run feels different thanks to roguelike elements. Here you'll overcome the increasingly difficult hordes of monsters by upgrading your weapons and abilities. The game has a retro art style and really not bad soundtrack. Also, developers use their own engine, so the game feels really smooth. Basically, if you feel nostalgia for classic Doom or Duke Nukem games, Impaler is a wonderful choice. Also, the price is a joke even without a discount. The game is short, only about 2.5 hours, and can be completed in a single sit-down any evening, which is great. 5 Nations. If StarCraft was mockingly called a Warcraft in space, then 5 Nations should be called a Warcraft in space, because it is following the same gameplay formula as Blizzard games, but everything is happening, you know, in space. But don't worry, this is not some grand strategy game or something like a homeworld where the distances are huge and everything is happening super slow. No, in 5 Nations the background is space, but all the action is the same as an old good base builder RTSs. The game gets little attention because it's an indie game and they have no money to make a huge advertising campaigns. I found it just because I was especially looking for games like StarCraft, and it still took me an hour to get to this game. But now it may become a bit more popular because other YouTubers tend to copy my lists. Great thing is that you can play the demo version on Steam absolutely free and check it out with your own eyes. Although it's not easy to see where to download it. Look in the right column above information about languages and you will see the download button. 5 Nations managed to stay true to old school gameplay, voiceovers and even writing style, and that is great. The Long Dock. When I look outside my window into the vast wilderness of North and Eastern Europe, I realize that I don't need games like that, I live in one of them. Snow, ice and cold rules my land, and only the power of my heater keeps me alive. I have to pay 100 euros per month for it, but, you know, it's worth it. Not dying is great. And for the rest of you who are way more lucky with the climate, I should probably say that this game, despite sometimes being very relaxing, is kinda hard. You will starve, you will be thirsty, you will be cold, and you will be eaten by a bear, still while being alive, screaming and kicking, you know, with the rest of your body that is still not eaten at the moment. So with this joyful note, I must stress out that this is an amazing survival game with more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam. People are talking that this is an artistic masterpiece and one of the best games of the genre. Alfred Hitchcock, Vertigo. It's really hard to say anything about this game and keep my short review spoilers free, but I will try my best. So here you are a person and you do things in the world, and there are adventures and dialogues, and things happen. There, a true spoiler free review. I'm just kidding. Anyway, jokes aside, this is an original story about obsession, manipulation and madness, inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece Vertigo. You will experience a powerful narrative paying tribute to the visual and storytelling techniques of the thriller genre. You will investigate what happened through the vision of 3 characters. Everyone has a different story to tell, and in the end all the pieces will come together solving a terrible mystery. Along the way you will explore several timelines to cross-check the events and separate reality from deceptive memories. You know, reality is sometimes worse than madness. Sovereign Syndicate. Here in this Victorian steampunk CRPG you will explore an open world filled with mystery and danger. You can choose from 3 playable characters with branching stories that intertwine. You will investigate, interact and take action to leave your mark on the world and its inhabitants. You will not find any random stat points here and will have to use your skills to level them up. Game wants you to trust your fate to the innovative tarot card chance system. You can solve problems with combat, persuasion, magic or even explosives. The game is heavily influenced by games like Fallout, Baldur's Gate and Disco Elysium. NPCs react to your gender, race, appearance and choice of dialogue, so you'd better look and act the part if you want the right results. But not everything is certain. Luck plays a role and it's all in the cards with the aforementioned tarot card chance system. Anyway, Sovereign Syndicate may very well be a hidden gem or at least a nice polished rock. If you are in doubt, you can play the demo version already. Project Warlock. Here you will become a mysterious warlock and embark on a dangerous mission to eradicate all evil. Yeah, seriously, I thought warlocks are evil, but yeah, you are good somehow and want to smite evil creatures with everything you have. Every single one of them, no matter where and when. You will travel through time and space to wreak mayhem and destruction like in the golden days of FPS games. You'll explore 60 levels in 5 settings, from ice Antarctic base to sands of Egypt or medieval castles. As in all classic games like this, you will find keys to unlock passages, reveal secret doors with golden ammo, use lifts and hidden buttons to access new areas, and of course, finally, you will descend to hell and face the ultimate challenge and emerge victorious or, you know, perish like a puny loser, which will never happen. You are awesome, my friend, never doubt that. Vaporum. This is a grid-based single-player and single-character dungeon crawler RPG set in an original steampunk setting. The game is obviously inspired by old-school games like Dungeon Master, the Eye of the Beholder series and the most recent Legend of Grimrock. So here, stranded in the middle of an ocean in front of a gigantic tower, you have to find out what the place is, what happened here, and most importantly, who are you and where the secret beer stash is. The game looks beautiful, so if you like dungeon crawlers, keep in mind that this one has very positive reviews on Steam and is a true gem for your collection. SpellForce 3 Soul Harvest. This game, just like Fallen God, is a standalone episode of SpellForce 3, meaning that you don't have to own the base game or even know the story very well. Here you are plunged in a war on many fronts. While some evil threatens to tear apart the Dwarven realm, an enigmatic cult of Dark Elves harvests the souls of people for reasons unknown. That is not cool, you have to stop it. You know, souls are like currency you can use to pay the devil for nice things, so all this soul harvesting stuff is like a bank robbery in my eyes. The game itself is a hybrid between RPG and RTS, meaning that you will have your heroes with various options and combinations on a skill tree and can amass your army like in any strategy game as well. The difference from 3rd Warcraft, for example, is that your heroes here are more like actual RPG heroes than just better units with more powerful skills. The story will take about 20 hours of your time, but if you want you can create your own maps as well. Invisible Ink. You'll control the secret agents and with their help you will infiltrate the world's most dangerous corporations. Stealth, precision and teamwork are essential in high-stakes, high-profit missions where every move may cost you your life. You will start with one of the 10 unlockable agents, plus 6 agent variants and 6 starting programs to crack corporate security. Locations, threats and loot are randomly generated, so each playthrough is different. People on Steam are saying that the game is criminally underplayed, so I'm spreading awareness and letting you know about it. The game is kinda old, but ticks all the boxes if you like the genre in general. Invisible Ink has more than 90% of positive reviews, left by about 5,000 players who bought it. Starship Troopers Terran Command. This game has a model similar to the Arbillions where you defend from the hordes of enemies and try to keep your base alive. Also, here you can literally relive the best moments of the Starship Troopers movie by defending your base from hordes of ladybugs. Anyway, here you'll encounter dozens of unique insect types, each with their own special abilities and skills. Also, the map has terrain elevation, true line of sight and true line of fire, providing deep tactical gameplay, meaning that units that stand behind other units can't shoot unless they stand on a higher ground. Sadly, you can't play as an alien insect. It's not off the table completely, developers say, but now you can only play as a military human society. That's it. If you are wondering if you can build a base here, yes you can, but it's not the main focus of the game, I would say. Despite that, it has a very positive review score on Steam, and many commentators are stating that if you like Command & Conquer or StarCraft, you must try Starship Troopers as well, so do not ignore it. Detroit: Become Human. Here, decisions will dramatically alter how the game's intense, branching narrative plays out. Your choices really matter, not like in real life. Basically, the whole game is built around your choices. You can't do anything here except to choose what to do in certain situations. Well, also you move around a little and search for clues, but that's kinda it. And every decision you make, no matter how small, affects the outcome of the story. And in this game, no playthrough will be exactly the same. You can replay again and again to discover a totally different conclusion, sometimes absolutely unexpected one. Well, let's be honest, you probably won't do that many times, but it's nice to know that the ending you got is really unique. Also, you can try the free demo version on Steam. Hauntii. It is time for some fancy art, which coincidentally is also a video game. This is probably the best short description of Hauntii. Cute puzzle platformer with incredible visuals. Here you'll take on the role of a naive ghost on a journey to ascend beyond the afterlife. You will explore, solve challenges and collect star fragments to reveal the moments of your past life. Your hero can use the unique haunt mechanic to possess and take control over almost anything. Even trees or potato salad. Can you imagine a haunted potato salad?
Ooh, eat me. I'm delicious, and not in a sexual way. I'm a salad, you pervert. Ooh, add more salt. Yes, perfection.
So besides that, you will dash, jump, blast, glide and shake your way through the world of Afterlife. On Steam, the game has a very positive review score, and people are saying that besides the fun gameplay, the soundtrack is really cool as well. And it's not as short as you might expect from a game like that. You will probably finish it in about 10 hours. The Planet Crafter. The adventure here starts literally the same as in Subnautica and many other alien planet exploration games. You are falling from space in a tiny capsule that will be your only home and link to humanity. So you manage to land with all your body parts intact and may start exploring unfriendly nature around you. Well, alright, I ain't gonna lie, in the Planet Crafter you ain't gonna find any hostile enemies. It's a very relaxing game where you don't have to worry about creating new weapons to defend yourself from large alien monsters, nothing like that. Here you have to gather minerals and resources to survive, and craft all the tools you'll need in order to fulfill your mission, which is to terraform this planet and make it habitable for humans. And half of humanity has boobs, so just saying, a noble goal. Also keep in mind that this is not just a crafting game. You will explore old crashed ships and ruins and discover a planet full of mystery. If interested, keep in mind that you can play the demo version on Steam for free. Amnesia: The Bunker. If you played Alien Isolation, then you know the drill here. There is a monster and it's chasing you. The Bunker is a way smaller game than Alien Isolation, but it dwells on the same idea of an elusive monster inhabiting the same place as you. And if in Alien Isolation you found yourself in a giant space station, here you are trapped in a cramped underground tunnel net under the battlefield of the First World War. Don't forget that creators of Amnesia Frictional Games were the pioneers of horror games without weapons. Remember Penumbra? Yeah, that was a gem. So I have no doubt that developers of Alien Isolation took inspiration from the Frictional Games while creating their weaponless Xenomorph game. And now Frictional Games took inspiration from Alien Isolation's monster, and the circle has closed. The game is really fun, although after seeing the monster a few times, it becomes less scary. So it becomes really playable by various pussies like us. It's a wonderful survival game, and if you like the concept, you are up for a treat. Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew. So this is an all-new strategy game set during an alternate history of the golden age of piracy. The terrible curse of lost souls haunts the mysterious island chain known as the Lost Caribbean, which is under the control of the terrible forces of the Inquisition. They despise all that is supernatural and use soul-devouring fire to hunt cursed pirates. And you are in charge of those, so that's not cool. Anyway, the game is made by the same bunch of people as Desperados 3 and Shadow Tactics titles, so I can assure you that the level of awesomeness is pretty high here. Anyway, here you'll sail on a sentient cursed ship, which will act as your base of operations. Here you'll hire new crew members, pick missions to embark on, and do many other nitpicky piratey things. I was really impressed by the tiny details of the ship. Its design is absolutely awesome. A lot of time was invested in making it, although I didn't like the controls of the camera. I didn't like them at all. If I had to rate camera controls of this game in a range from a pile of snot to an awesome exploding supernova, these controls would be somewhere where the dandruffs are, so not so far from a pile of snot. But the combat was the coolest thing. Game is a participant of the real-time tactics genre, meaning that you will have to make your plan of future activities in your head at first and only then dive into the real thing. Art of Rally. This is a beautiful racing game. The word art in its name is not just a coincidence. The game looks original and fun. Here you will race across the world through colorful and stylized environments and compete for the first place in the leaderboards with daily and weekly challenges. Here you will experience the golden era of rally in career mode, traveling across 78 stages from Finland to Sardinia, Norway, Japan, Germany, Kenya, Indonesia and Coldberistan. Well, maybe not all of these, but I can't remember which one isn't included. The models of cars are all vintage and range from 60s to 80s. In total, more than 50 different cars. To be honest, you don't need to be a fan of racing, this game is literally for everyone. I played the demo a long time ago and even if racing games are usually not my spoon of potato salad, I had tons of fun. Also, the review score on Steam is very high, above 90%.
Crazy high.
Well, not as high as Seth Rogen. Last Train Home. Here you will embark on a desperate mission through the depths of a wasteland ravaged by war. Your goal is to guide Czechoslovak soldiers back to home on board an armored train. But the path ahead is fraught with peril. Caught in the middle of a brutal civil war between Russia's red and white armies, your unit must remain in fighting shape, managing what little resources you have and maintaining morale at all costs. Venture through the bleak and unforgiving landscape of Siberia, where the freezing cold and the merciless environment will push you to your very limit. Resources are scarce and your crew is exhausted, but you must never give up. All my life I rode made in Czechoslovakia trolleybuses in Vilnius. Some of them are still riding in the streets. They are like 50 years old and they still run. So one thing I'm completely sure about these guys, everything that's made in Czechoslovakia is unbreakable, except the country itself. What an irony. GTFO. This is a 4-player cooperative game. Good news for you, since you are obviously short of friends, the vacuum of your life can be filled with bots here. Playing with them can be irritating at first, but when you learn their mechanics, it's actually quite fun.
Said every lonely person ever.
Oh, shut up. Of course, game developers still recommend playing with real people since the game requires a level of communication and tactical combat, and a good strategy is necessary to win the game. Many of the creatures of GTFO are suspended in state of hibernation, so light, noise and vibrations can easily wake these sleepers up. Better leave your multi-purpose noisy vibrating flashlight at home, so if one of the creatures knows you are there, they all know. Be cautious when deciding on shooting. This game will truly test your patience, since it is a hardcore shooter and it doesn't have a difficulty setting. Although despite the fact that the graphics and atmosphere are amazing, GTFO can become quite repetitive rather quickly. Jagged Alliance 3. In the sequel of the legendary tactical strategy turn-based franchise, you can select from a huge cast of mercenaries, all with their own unique personalities, quirks and backstories. Then go out and explore the land as you meet new people, earn money, grow your team and ultimately make your own decisions that will decide the country's fate. Here you will also find a campaign that you can play alone or with friends in online co-op mode. Control territory, train the locals, command multiple parties and defend against enemy forces in an alive and active world. You can customize customize your weaponry, and even decide on the fate of the country in an open RPG structure. Honestly, I was really skeptical about the game's quality before the release, because sequels like that, especially after so many years, tend to flop, while most of them actually fail to live up to the expectations. And Jagged Alliance 3 wasn't anything like that. A very positive review score left by thousands of people proves that without a sweat.
And now, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.